Okay, today we're going to keep factoring, but instead of having just an x squared for our first term, we're going to have what's called ax squared, and that's where there's a number in front, or a coefficient in front of the variable. So some of it is trial and error. So we're going to set up our two parentheses just like we always do. Okay, then I know the only way to make 2x squared is 2x times x. Then I'm trying to figure out, well, what else do I know? This is a plus sign, which means two of the same signs, and it's got to be two minuses. Okay, so now I have to figure out, well, what can I multiply to make 3? That's going to add to give me 7. But here's where, like, it's a little different than yesterday. Yesterday, it was just like, oh, well, 3 times 1 is 3, and you add to get 4. Well, now there's an extra curveball thrown in there because this is a 2. So if I put the 3 here, which this is going to be correct, right? That gives me -6 and then 1. So I need to check my outside products and my inside products. So 2x times -3 is -6x. -1 times x is -x. What's -6 and -1? -7, which is what I want. So -1 times -3 is +3. And then I have -6 minus 1 is -7x in the middle. Okay, let's look at number 2. We're going to do the same process. I'm going to set up my two parentheses. The only thing I can do to make 3n squared is 3n times n. It gets real fun when you have like a 12 here, and it could be 4 and 3, 2 and 6. It could be 1 and 12, so all kinds of fun. And then this is a minus, so that means I'm going to have a plus and a minus. And I'm just not sure where they're going to go quite yet. So like I said, some of it is just going to be guess and check. So I'm going to put the plus here, the minus here. So now I'm going to kind of think ahead. I'm trying to make 14 using 5 and 1, because that's the only thing I can do to make 5. So if I put a 5 here, 3 times 5 is 15. And then a 1, that's 14. So let's try that. 5 and 1. So if I check my outside products, that's -15n, and my inside products is 1n. Well, what's -15 plus 1? I'm so close. That's -14, right? I want +14 in the middle, so I'm just going to change those signs. So now 3 times 5 is +15. -1 times n is -1n. 15 minus 1 is 14. So I know I did it right. Aren't these fun? Okay, let's look at number 3. So I'm going to set up my two parentheses. 3r times r. This is a plus, which is telling me two of the same signs. And it's two plus signs because that's a plus. And now what can I make, or what can I multiply together to make 4? I could do 2 and 2, so I'm going to think about it. That's going to give me 6 plus 2. Well, what's 6 plus 2? 8, right? If I had put a 4 here, I would have had 12 plus 1 is 13, or 3 plus 4 is 7. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in what we said earlier, the 2 and the 2. And I'm going to check outside products, 6r, inside products, 2r, 6r, and 2r gave me 8r. So that's the correct factorization. Number 4. Okay, so I don't know whether this is going to be 4x and x or 2x and 2x. Let's just try 2x and 2x. This is a plus, so that means two of the same, and it's going to be two minuses. Then the only thing I can do to make 5 is 5 and 1. So let's look at it. That gives me -2x minus 10x. That's -12x. So this isn't going to work, right? Even if I switch the 5 and the 1, it doesn't make a difference because it's still 2x for my first term. So like I said, some of this is going to be guess and check. So, I made that real small. So instead of 2 and 2, let's try 4x and x. Why did I make that so small? and then minus, minus. Okay, so now I have 5 and 1. So if I put the 5 right here, I'm going to have 20x and 1x. Is that what's going to make 9? No. So let's try 5 and 1. So let's check our outside products. Negative 4x, and my inside products, negative 5. Negative 4 and negative 5 is negative 9x, which is what I want in the middle. So that's my correct factorization. Okay, number 5. Why don't you try 5 on your own and then come back and check your work. Okay, 5, you should have 2x minus 1 times x plus 7. And if we check our outside products, that's 14x minus 1x. 14 minus 1 is 13. And then the last one, there's something underneath my paper. If I fill these in, I'm going to do 2x and x. And then to make 35, I'm doing 7 and negative 5. So 2 times negative 5 is negative 10x. And then 7 plus 5 is 7x. Negative 10 and 7 is negative 3. Okay, so let's talk about what happens if our first term is a negative. Okay, if our first term is a negative, we're going to make it positive by just factoring out negative 1. So if I take a negative 1 out of everything, now I have 4x squared minus 12x minus 7. So it essentially changed everything to the opposite sign, but now it's way easier to factor. So the negative 1 stays out front. I set up my 2 parentheses, and let's try 2x and 2x. This is a minus, so it's a plus and a minus. And then what can you multiply to make 7? There's only one thing, 1 and 7. So if I put the 7 here, that's negative 14 and positive 2, which is what I want. So negative 14x plus 2. Oh, no, I messed it up. Did I? Oh, no, I didn't. I'm looking up here. It's a minus, so that's correct. So negative 14 plus 2 is negative 12. So that would be my correct factorization. Okay, I'm going to skip to number 9, factor out negative 1, 5x squared minus 6x plus 1. Negative 1, do my 2 parentheses to make 5x squared. I'm going to do 5x and x, plus sign, 2 of the same, 2 minuses. And then to make 1, this is real easy, 1 and 1. Negative 5x minus an x is negative 6x, so I know that that's the correct factorization. And then let's do the last 2. Okay, so number 8, we're going to factor out the negative 1. And so I set up my parentheses. Oh, I should have just done 1 parentheses. So that's 2y squared plus 5y plus 3. I'm making all kinds of mistakes here. That's fun. So negative 1, set up my 2 parentheses to make 2y squared. I can only do 2y and y. This is a plus, which means 2 of the same, and it's 2 plus signs. And so to make 3, the only thing I can do is 3 and 1. So if I'm trying to make 5 in the middle, if I put the 1 here, that's 2 plus 3. So 3 and 1. If I check my outsides, that's 2y plus 3y is 5y. So that is my whole answer. Okay, one more. We're going to take out negative 1. That leaves us with 3x squared plus x minus 2. So negative 1, 2 parentheses. I can do 3x times x. This is a minus, so it means a plus and a minus. I'm going to try the minus here and the plus here. Again, it's just trial and error. So to make a 2, I can only do a 2 and a 1. So if I put a 2 here, that gives me 6 and 1. That's too many. So let's try the 2 here and the 1 here. So that gives me 3x and then minus 2x. Well, 3x minus 2x is 1x, and that was my goal. So I'm done.